Do you ever just wake up one morning and immediately get a stupid idea thinking it's going to be cool? That's what this is. I'm Ben from Curiosity Treks, and this is Mount Greylock. Do you ever just wake up one morning and immediately get a stupid idea thinking it's going to be cool? That's what this is. Alright, Mount Greylock via Bellows Pipe and Gould Trail. This is a loop trail. The trail is 6.4 miles long with an elevation gain of 2,329 feet. And according to this, it should take you about 4 hours, 18 minutes to complete. So obviously the pinnacle of this trail is Mount Greylock, the summit of Mount Greylock, and that is the highest point in the state of Massachusetts. It is located near Adams, Massachusetts. I believe it's part of the Taconic Range of mountains in western Massachusetts. And for some reason I thought it would be a brilliant idea to climb 2,300 feet in about 3 miles. So far, the trail is mostly a gravel path. And it's this steep and steady incline, which, 2,300 feet in 3 miles and then back down again. It's obviously going to be quite a climb. Currently, it's just after 0800 on 17 August 2024. And this is actually a series of intersecting trails that all trails made into this loop. And so you go up the mountain one way and down another way, and it loops you back to where you started. So it looks like this part of the trail, I believe this is the Bellows South Trail, is going to be a lot of this. This part of the trail actually looks like there's a lot of runoff that comes through here whenever it gets a good rain. So if you're coming up here on this particular trail, I'm doing Bellows South, which is doing the loop counterclockwise, and it looks like this place could get pretty muddy and a little bit complex if it just had a really good rain. Alright, so I forgot to mention that this trail is categorized as a hard trail according to the All Trails app for obvious reasons. I haven't done a lot of filming in the time that I've spent on this trail. I've gotten a lot less footage than normal, but it's mostly because it's just this dead straight uphill climb on this wide and smooth but semi-rocky uphill trail. So, and it's all over tree canopy, or under tree canopy, so there's not much for us to see anyway at this time in the morning when the light isn't able to get through the trees very well. So if you're finding that we get to the top seemingly quicker than when we go down, that's just because I'll probably get more footage coming down, because it'll be later in the day with quite a bit more light coming in for me to get footage. So it took me roughly 35 minutes to travel exactly a mile, 1.0, and that's a little under a third of the way up. That's definitely behind the clock, but I've also been really taking my time and pacing myself and going slow, because I'm not trying to wear out my calf muscles before I can get all the way up. So slow and steady has been the theme of today's hike. This would be a neat place to get water. You got a Sawyer filter. Actually, that's not the worst idea. I think I'm going to top off. Oh, what a trail this is shaping up to be. Oh, man. So for those of you who are curious, the D on this bag just means it's a dirty water bag. No, it does not mean these nuts. All right, moving on. We're burning daylight. It's actually starting to get hazy as we go up. According to the app, I am not making good time. 48 minutes. 1.28 miles, so definitely a slow trek this is. Oh, this is cool. Could camp out here if you wanted to. It is getting hazy up here. I'm gonna laugh if I get all the way to the top and I can't see anything because of fog or low cloud cover. That's gonna be hilarious. It is downright spooky looking out here. I just got passed by 3 people who were running up this trail literally. Like they had trail runners on and they were just booking it up here like their hair was on fire. That's craziness. I mean, that's insanity is what that is. A lot of haze on this part of the trail. Not gonna lie, it feels pretty good though. This part of the trail is actually really easy, the last third of a mile. So I'm trying to take advantage of it, making some quicker rucking time while it lasts. I've got a feeling it's about to get really hard. I mean, it's gonna have to. There's still quite a lot of mountain left up there. Yep, there it is. There's some uphill. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, it is creepy up here. Not creepy in the sense of I don't feel safe, but creepy just in terms of the visuals. Just because of all this haze, it's really cool looking in a creepy sort of way. Ooh, okay then. It's gonna take me a minute to get up this one. All right. Wow, that's a climb. Yeah, if this is a hard trail, then this is definitely where it's going to be hard at. I think I'm going to go hands-free for this. Well, you know what I think I'll do? I think I'm actually going to go up to the left, just because it's kind of stone steps. Ugh. Yeah, it's definitely a drop. All right. This rock should be dry, so I should have no issue getting up this. Oh, the whole trail is slopey. This is going to take a while. Good grief. All right. Well, I got this far. Ugh. Let's try to make use of the rocks. Ugh. Ugh. All right. Ugh. I hear people. It's a good sign. It's always nice to know there's somebody else out here in case something goes sideways. Jesus, that was a climb. This looks like a little bit of a more forgiving trail, at least for now. It's getting wetter the further up I get. I think all this haze is collecting on trees and bushes. And so, I don't know if the camera is picking up, but I can hear this very distinct raindrop sound. It's coming from obviously water droplets falling off the trees after it collects on the tree leaves. So I'm just coming off of Bellows Pipe Trail, and here, as you can see, is the Appalachian Trail. I'm not sure why I care, because I mean, if you're not going to through hike it, the Appalachian Trail really doesn't mean anything. It's just another trail to me. That's cool to see, though, that this route sort of intersects with the Appalachian Trail. That's interesting. So far, this is the most populated trail that I've been on since Curiosity Treks got started. That would make sense just because this trail it leads to the highest point in the state of Massachusetts. So it's going to attract all manner of hikers and thrill seekers, including this magnificent bastard. So yeah, why should I be surprised? Plus it intersects with the AT, so that's going to attract a lot of people too. I imagine this particular area over the last, I don't know, 500 yards gets a lot of foot traffic because of AT hikers. So the last, I don't know, quarter mile has been more or less a straight shot. We're not really snaking up the mountain anymore. It's been pretty much going just dead straight uphill. So there's that. Sometimes it's pretty forgiving, sometimes it's not. Like there's another pretty steep incline. So one thing I'm hearing off in the distance is a lot of airplanes. Like, I think I hear one going by like every minute or two. It's kind of weird. Ugh. Thankfully, there's some stone steps. There's like two parallel trails, one that's just a trail, and then another that's some stone steps. So that's nice. The hell is that? Ugh. What the hell is this? You can drive up here? Oh, this is bullshit. Shows you how much research I did on this place. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the peak is just up that way. And as you can tell, if there was a view to be seen, I would see it. Because apparently you can see something crazy like 90 miles. Well, not today. Not today. This hazy breeze does feel good though. I think the temperature actually went down quite a bit as I came up here. What the hell are you doing? Driving. I hiked 2,000 miles up this bitch and you're driving. Whatever, let's go. I knew I wasn't hearing airplanes. The hell? Oh my God. This is funny, is what this is. Oh, it's about another 20 feet. I can see it. Just a little further. This is overdeveloped as hell. This is a travesty. Isn't this lovely? Reach the peak of Mount Greylock, and what do I got? Concrete parking lot jungle. And then I choose to come up here on the foggiest day of the century. Just my luck. Well, everybody, I wish there was more I could show you, but unfortunately this entire area is clouded in fog. You can go all the way up to the top of this war memorial, which was built in the early 1930s, but I figure, why would I? You know, even if I do, I'm not going to be able to see anything anyway. So I don't regret coming up here. It was a great experience, and I got to see some cool stuff, talk to some cool people. Those motorcycle guys that whizzed by me when I reached the road, I talked to them for a while. There's some cool guys, and they were just about as bummed as I was, as disappointed as I was to come up here and not be able to see anything. So, all right, it's time to get back down to the base of the mountain, to the car, so I can drive home to Syracuse. Hopefully this dead cat that I put on my microphone is keeping most of the wind out. But that part of the trail is different from how I got up, so I'll record stuff that's interesting to see. But my microphone battery is actually getting low, so I don't want to record too much and then end up not being able to have any sound. So it is also worth noting that this area at the peak of Mount Greylock, 3,400 feet plus, it's high enough that it apparently has its own weather, because it is cold and foggy and windy up here, which it was none of those things further down. So, for whatever that's worth. All right, let's get back to it. So apparently in order to get back down, you have to hike on the AT, which is cool with me. This place looks like the Voldemort forest from Harry Potter. What was that called? The Forbidden Forest? I don't know. But that's exactly what it looks like. I feel like giant spiders are going to come out of nowhere and haul me away. So I got like 200 feet down the mountain, and just right away I didn't need my jacket anymore. So there's that. But it is a rocky descent so far. Hopefully it's not that way all the way down, but we'll see. Well, here's a steep spot. This is going to be lovely to try to get down. I didn't record for about half a mile because I was trekking with an older guy who just happened to be going the same direction I was, and we chatted it up for a while and made small talk until our trails diverged and we went separate directions. Like there's a bunch of different trails here. Which way do I need to go? I need to go this way, according to the All Trails app anyway. But All Trails has gotten me lost before. Oh, this is a dream, this part of the trail. It's not super steep, it's not super rocky. This is nice. Here in a couple minutes, I'm actually going to have to stop to switch camera batteries. Well, I just got set back about 30 to 35 minutes on this hike because my microphone wouldn't connect. And so I spent like half an hour troubleshooting it. I did some hiking along the way. I gotta say, you didn't miss much. So far, this trail going down is substantially similar to how I came up. It's a lot of this like semi-rocky but fairly shallow descent. It's not super steep, or hasn't been up to this point. So I took the Appalachian Trail and it dumped me out at the Gould Trail, which is what I'm on now. And just as I said that it wasn't going to be tricky or steep, well, look at what we got here. Actually, that's probably not so bad. All right. All right. So Hopefully we don't have any interruptions like this again, because this hike, I gotta tell you, is shaping up to take a lot longer than it should. I already didn't stop the clock when I took my breaks, and so that's adding to the time it takes to get up and down this mountain. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I really don't care how long it takes. I just don't want it to be a 4-hour trail and I'm up here like 6 hours. Just because I have to drive back to Syracuse today, and that's about a 3 hour and 20-minute drive. But so far the descent is going fine. It's not particularly challenging or all that hard on my legs, at least not yet. I have to assume that at some point it's going to get that way. I can't imagine I'm going to go all the way down with this kind of shallow and forgiving descent. Somehow I just don't think I'm going to be that lucky. It is starting to get quite a bit brighter. Like, I'm willing to bet if I had went up to Mount Greylock in the afternoon, the fog would have been a non-issue. Because it would certainly appear, if you look off beyond the trees, that it's starting to clear up already. So, looks like a missed opportunity. If I happen to be back up this way on a clear day, I'll be sure to do a really short video and just show you what I saw. But it was a fun time up there. There were lots of AT hikers, there were motorcyclists, other day hikers. It's definitely a convergence point for this hobby. So if you're somebody who wants to shake hands and make acquaintances and talk about the hiking hobby, then this is one place to do it. I've had some quite pleasant conversations with quite a lot of people, so it was a good time. So now I'm in a spot where there's a lot of mud. I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, whatever. Yeah, I'm the dude that hates mud, but at the same time, this isn't something you can really avoid. Now it kind of feels like it's starting to get steeper. I'm making a lot better time going down than I was going up, just because I don't have to mind my footing quite as much. It's a much more beaten trail, and so you can really tear ass down this mountain, at least on this trail, with a bit of a sense of urgency if you really wanted to. Not that I need to be in a hurry. The only thing I'm in a hurry for is to get home to Doritos and Yingling, because I need that in my life. So while I'm on a fairly flat stretch of trail, I'm starting to notice that I have a hot spot in one of my toes. I'm going to blame that on the shoes that I'm wearing. I'm wearing a pair of Oboz Sawtooth X shoes, and I rated those from an REI when they were having a big sale. I got them for 30% off, but when I went in there to try them on, they didn't have my size. So they asked me if I wanted to try a size up, and I tried them on, and they seemed to fit just fine. Well, now that I'm dealing with a lot of pinpoint pressure from rocks and a lot of back and forth play in my shoes from going up and down steep grades, I'm starting to notice pinpoint. Actually, I think I got one on each foot right now. What would I do about something like that? Well, I have a IFAK in my backpack, and inside it, one of the items is a pack of North American Rescue Gecko Grip, which is basically a medical grade 90-mile-an-hour tape. And what I would do is I would use that rather than Band-Aids. I don't have Band-Aids in my IFAC because that's just too many loose parts to shuffle around and get messed up, and then you have to worry about topping it off. I would just rather take a roll of gauze and a pack of 90-mile-an-hour tape, and that way when I cover a wound, if I don't want the tape to stick to it, I can just put a tiny little piece of gauze on there and then just wrap it up in tape. And it's a lot more versatile. It can be used for a lot of different types of cuts and bruises, bug bites, bee stings, that sort of thing. All right. It looks like we have a diverging trail again. I need to go left, according to the AllTrails app. One thing about the AllTrails app that I want to talk about is that it would appear that the app is usually pretty good about telling you where to go. It's got me lost, like really badly lost once, but even then, I think part of that was me not watching out for trail blazes and posts for me to stay on the trail, and so some of that is my own fault. But it would appear that the AllTrails app is really good at telling you where to go, but it's not really good at telling you much else. Because I've noticed that, at least on some trails, I can't speak for all of them, that it will count ascent and descent into your elevation gain. So like there was one trail where I watched the trail demo, and it was a loop trail where, I'm going to simplify it, let's just say you went up 500 feet on one side of the trail, and on the other side of the loop you went down 500 feet to get back where you started. Well, in some cases I've noticed that AllTrails considers that to be 1,000 feet of elevation gain. Well, that's retarded. So I would definitely take all the numbers I give you off at AllTrails with a grain of salt. Also the distance and the time, because half the time when I take a break I don't even pause the clock, and then when I reach a destination and I'm just goofing off and fooling around, I don't tend to pause it then. I'll usually forget. So with regard to the elevation and the time, and even to a degree the distance, because I've had the distance be way off too, where the trail was just like a mile longer than it was supposed to be. You know, on a through hike or a long backpacking trip, that's just like, okay, whatever. But if you're, set up and geared up for a 7-mile hike and then it ends up 8 miles, that can be a little bit frustrating. I don't even know if frustrating is the right word. It can just be puzzling, like, why is it taking me so much longer to get where I'm supposed to go? Did I get lost? Something like that. I am tearing ass down this hill, and I'm gonna fall before I get to the bottom, I swear. If I make it all the way up and down this mountain and I don't fall and bust my ass like I did on Snow Mountain, it's gonna be amazing. So we're into some pretty gnarly descent. So I'm having to slow down a little bit because my legs are starting to feel it. But it's still a lot more forgiving than it was going up. I talked to somebody locally who has been on this trail before I started, and they said a lot of people do it counterclockwise like I did, because the hard part, you get it out of the way first, and then the descent, at least with this particular set of trails that forms a loop, coming down is, yeah, it's steep, but you're not having to deal with steep rocks and boulders and just these crazy steep declines that you're likely to fall if you're not careful. So it does appear that doing this counterclockwise is the way to do it. So the height of Mount Greylock, it peaks out at 3,490-ish feet. I don't remember the exact number. It was on the plaque that I got footage of. But I didn't climb no 3,000 feet. It was more like 2,200 feet or 2,300 feet, because the base of the trail already starts at a relatively high elevation. You're not starting at sea level, obviously. So, still, to me anyway, quite an accomplishment, because I am, as some of you probably know already, overweight and out of shape, and some people might climb this mountain and think it's easy. I had a tough, ooh, that's gonna hurt in the morning. Oof. I had a tough time with it. Not as tough of a time as I had with Snow Mountain in the Adirondacks, but I think I'm starting to realize some of them gains that I got from Haystack Mountain and Snow Mountain. So the Adirondacks did me good, I would say, because this is shaping up to be less physically taxing. Because when I got down from Snow Mountain near Keene in New York, I was exhausted, dehydrated, hungry, dizzy. I was not prepared for that one, but this one I came a lot more prepared for things I was going to encounter, especially when it comes to water and food and medical gear, things like that. Okay, so now I'm practically jogging, which is going to bite me in the ass eventually. But it's pretty smooth, so I figure I have more of a chance of falling on rocks than just running down this section. I'm going to slow down right here. Alright. Momentum. Gravity. Working in my favor. Whoa, shit. Definitely getting a workout on this. Some good cardio, elevated heart rate. Well, I got that going up, but I digress. Okay, that's enough. Whew. That was a pretty freaking massive tree. Good God. You know what? Let me see here. See if I can... There we go. Oh. I mean, look at this thing. It's huge. That's a shame. That's a shame. Okay. Well, almost there. This way. You're probably not going to see much more of this trail, just because all my camera batteries are almost dead. But you're not really missing much. If I turn the camera around, you'll see that it's just a lot of this wide, smooth, winding up and down trail. There's not a lot of variety in this trail. It's kind of monotonous, actually, which is nice on the way down. I'm not sure I would have had much appreciation for it on the way up, though. Well, I bet that water is tasty and cold and refreshing and amazing. God, these woods down here is just beautiful. I'll tell you what, if you're not even trying to hike Mount Greylock, if you just want to hang out down here, this is a spectacular place to spend time. I haven't had any serious descent in a while, and so I think we're past that. I will update you as soon as we get to the base of the trail where we started. Until then, I don't think there's really need to record much more. This is interesting. We've reached, I guess you could say street level. I should be pulling up to Gould Road here shortly. While I'm trekking, I'll just go ahead and give this trail a thumbs up. I think this trail is absolutely good to go, and if you catch it on a good day, you could see views that stretch for who knows how long. I wasn't so lucky today, but I'm still quite proud of myself for getting all the way up there and all the way back down. Some of this is really overgrown, so make sure you're checking yourself over for ticks and other unmentionables. Alright, the final readings from the AllTrails app for the grain of salt that that's worth. 4 hours, 16 minutes, 6.67 miles, 3,989 feet. That's bullshit. Maybe all the way down and all the way up, but yeah, that's a messed up number. Yeah, I think that's it. I parked right over here. It's like somebody's mowing their lawn. Change of plans. I decided I was not going to give up that easy. So I jumped in my car and I drove up here because apparently you can just do that. That still pisses me off. In any case, when I was up here the first time, it was a little after 0900. Now it's about 1330 and it's a bit clearer. You still can't see a very good distance, but what you can see is this. You can see that clear as day now. So even coming back up here the second time, there's still a little bit of a breeze, and that temperature difference is for real. It is easily 10, even 12 degrees colder up here than it is down there. It's surprising to say the least. Let me turn the camera around and see if I can capture this view, because it's still hazy, but you can see it. What I was experiencing earlier had to have been this low cloud cover, because now It's just now breaking out to where you can actually see what's going on down there. I mean, the view is, that's a long way down. That's 2,000 feet. That is crazy. Well, everybody, I think that's about all I can show you. I highly doubt if the sky is going to get any clearer today than it already has. It's a cloudy day to begin with, and this low cloud cover is making it to where even now it's not as clear as it could be. Plus the fact that you can just drive up here means that practically everybody does, and so now the parking lots are full. Tourists everywhere, which means it's time for me to go. I got a long drive ahead of me, and it's time to hit the road. Questions, comments, put them in the comment section of the video. Otherwise, until next time, this is Ben from Curiosity Treks telling you, take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next trail.